Hello, everybody. Uh, I am almost to the 12:30. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Julia. Okay, so what I didn't do, and it was on purpose. So this is how the uh, back of the box that we did last time looks like when it's fully done. Of course, it's not done yet in the, the colors and everything, but you can see that you can barely see that little string on the edges. Now, I didn't do the bottom on this one for a simple reason. I had a few messages about removing the whole thing from the from the biscuit cutter, and I thought that yeah, I can do it just fine because we'll probably I'm not going to extend this into probably into another clay with me. Just whatever finishing touches might still be needed. I will just do a short tutorial that will not be live. But the idea is that just with one, I mean, with the top, I still can do two different types of lids. Okay. Um, and I can do this bottom afterwards with what, because I'll show you a different type of bottom, not necessarily a different type of bottom, but a different type of finishing the bottom. Okay, so the way that I remove it from the biscuit cutter, I have this, and if you don't have one of these, I think that you can find them by themselves. I had it in a set. Oh God, I have that set for like 19 years. Hi, Carrie. It's one of those seen on TV, the Miracle Blade set, and it is a fruit paring knife. Why it is the best to use this? Because it is very, very, very thin. It is fairly sharp. To use the X-Acto knife is very thin, and it easily goes in between the clay and the baking base, but it is not very sturdy. So you want something that would be a little bit sturdier. Hi, Shirley. So if you have something similar, it is the best. So I simply insert it. I try to find the spot where I can insert it easily. And if you just go around, it's impossible not to find the spot. On one end or the other. Sorry, it is a little bit more difficult for me to do it under the camera because remember, if my hands are going upwards, that tires me. And very careful not to cut yourself, of course. But see, it is thin enough to go in. And I showed this actually on the initial tutorial. And after you get the top part all loose, it will be much easier to go on the other side, because you can actually do it with this knife directly. And anytime, as I said a couple times before, whenever you have trouble getting something off a tight, round, or square baking base, the best way to do it is to heat it up with the heat gun a little bit, because once you do that, it will become flexible, and you can just get it off. I showed you that with the jar. in the, I think it was in the alien landscape tutorial. But once you get it all separated nicely, you just yeah, you know, the thing with the hands, right? Yes, for people who have this kind of issue, it is a little bit more difficult, but it's not undoable. Of course, I could have gotten the heat gun, but I said, why more noise? Okay, and there you go. Now, at this point, it is exceptionally important to get a piece of sandpaper, and I would suggest to go on like a 240 or 300. Hi, Carol. And place it straight, flat on the table, and then start doing this. And the same on this. I think that I did that. Yeah, we have, because there were some people who required assistance on tips and tricks on how to do the box and certain areas of the box. And that's why I started in parallel the four gemstone thing. And that's why I said we are not going to go into yet another one. Whatever finishing touches will need to be done, I'll do them out of live and just post a short tutorial. What is that? What? See what? Oh, kitty pendants. Oh yeah. You need to show us. You definitely need to show us. Okay, now for the bottom itself, you know that I've been working with this white clay, and we will be using it for the bottom. But before we use it for the bottom, let's save time and first work on the lid. And I said I'll show you two different kinds of lids. One of them that would be like the one on the faux burl wood jewelry box, only that instead of being domed, it will be, hi Donna, it will be flat. So we can see how to do both kinds of lids. And the other one will also be flat, but it will be one of those that you actually, that actually goes like this. It grips the top instead of going inside. So for that, we will need a flat, of course, a flat lid, and to work easier with it. And it has to be about, I don't know, 3 millimeters, let's say 3 millimeters wider than the top of the box. But that's why you need to have this perfectly beautifully flat. And this will be for the one that goes inside, the same way as, I still have that box here. I know, yeah, I have somebody who wants attention here. The same way that the one for the burl wood is. And here you just have to be very, very careful. Can I get off? He started actually snagging me. And to remember, one way that I used to do it when I had really bad issues, my hands wouldn't listen. I would just go and pretty much hold my needle like this at a certain angle and start kind of give it a, but of course you need to rotate it in order to be able to do this. If you hold a needle or a pencil or something, with a pencil, if you choose a thicker pencil than this and you hold it flat, it will go exactly at the same distance as the hi Sherry, that the same distance that you need, and will actually do this for the other lid. But I don't know if I have something that is thicker here. This is not. No, the best thing to do, and what I would use for something like this, I would use one of those big lip liners, because those work perfect. Hi Anna. Hi Teresa. But you know that I can do this freehand pretty much. If you have a compass, that is one of the best things to use. Okay, working around the camera. If you're gonna see my hair, I'm sorry. If you have any dessert plate, not dessert plate, dessert plate, that would be a good size. You can use that as a template, of course. But ideally, that's what you need to get. You need to get a perfect circle that would be a few millimeters wider than the top of the box. And then we place this on a tile. And it just gets, if you have another tile to put on top, it's perfect. Yes, Teresa did awesome at her fair. Oh, goodness. Now, to give you a tip, whenever I put these up for baking on a tile, I would always still put them on a, even if I don't care about the shininess or non-shininess, I will still put them on wax paper for a very simple reason. Because if they are on the tile, they will take much longer to be able to cool enough so you can take them out of the oven. But also, if they are on the paper, you can simply just, you know, lift the paper and put it on something flat. So here you can check your evenness of the round, and remember, you can always refine it with a little bit of sanding. I have here something that's not perfectly, but I can get it with the sanding. So this will be one of the lids, and then the second lid will have to be exactly the exactly the size of the outside of the box. So let me put this aside. I'll get my other piece of wax paper. Then we place the clay. And here, honestly, you can, if you want, you can try and do it in just one bake. But I'm not going to do it in one bake because we need this box. And because of the way it's done, you need the box itself. So here you just go all around your... So this will be the lid that goes over. That's got the edge that goes over. Pretty much like in a hat box. You know, those fancy hat boxes. See, here's my biggest challenge whenever I do this. That's why sometimes I fail on camera because I don't see very well. But the thing is that because of the fact that I have nerve damage on the tip of my fingers, I go away from the edge without realizing it. And then I'm like, okay, why is it this so much wider on this side than on the other side? And that happens, I don't know if you ever noticed, that happens with the rulers as well. Okay. I have my other tile is in the kitchen, directly near the oven, so I'll just grab this and take it to the kitchen. And again, no worries because all this can be nicely finished sanding afterwards. Let me put this in and then I'll catch up on the chat and we'll get on to making the button. Okay, I am back. It's the box. It's the box that we've been making. It's one of the boxes that we've been making. It's the, remember we did the wall? And this is the box itself. No, I didn't line. This is scrap clay inside. Remember, I'm doing help on how to make the jewelry boxes. That was triggered by a lot of messages I got after I did the faux burl wood jewelry box. So I decided to make one live, but because I cannot be for too long, it had spilled into several weeks. Yeah, we need to do a... Yeah, she's been doing, Teresa's been doing some awesome bowls and awesome caning. Okay, so I went on the third thickest setting. Now, honestly, it is up to you if you want to do any kind of model or pattern or whatever on the bottom of the box. You know, and you've seen that I like to have some kind of pattern on the bottom of the box as well. But it would be very complicated to start using this. So instead of this, we can actually do something else, and I'll show you. We can actually do it using cutters, and then we have the other cutters in the set that we can use. So the first thing we need to do, and remember, we are still working with this crappy white. The first thing that needs to be done, obviously, is to put some liquid clay, bake and bond something here. Okay. And I will scroll back in a while to see if I missed anything. If it's too far back and anybody asked something and I didn't see it, please say it again. And I will remind you if anytime I'm taking off my glasses and I cannot see the chat. Also, while I'm doing this, I posted it on Facebook, but I know that not everybody is following my Facebook page. And following that announcement that I made on some videos will from now on be accessible only to the free members of my site. There is a little thing. There were quite a few people who registered on my site before I did this announcement. Hi, Cecile. It's full on PC. It's full on PC. If you look back, phone, I've done this for like, this is the third week, I think. So what I was saying, if you have registered on my website before I did this whole announcement, you will have to go back in, log in, don't create another account, and don't go straight to register to the free membership, because the system will hiccup and will not register. You will not to create a double account. You need to go and first log in. Then you go to the sponsorship program that's listed on the left side, on that column on the left side, and then select free membership and join that program. Because the way that the website is set up, I will make certain articles. You will be able to see the preview and what it is about, but in order to read the whole article and watch the tutorial, the video tutorial, you'll have to be part of this, at least the free membership plan. Of course, if you're already a sponsor, that comes stands to reason that you'll be able to watch all of that. But as I said, and that's you, Teresa, because I know that I haven't seen you registering to the new plan. Because the more special tutorials and the ones that have my techniques will still be public and still be free, but viewable only by members of my website. So and remember, here you should be very careful about the air bubbles. No air bubbles. So first of all, do a rough cut of the excess clay. And what I wanted to say, yes, I will make an actual tutorial on all the gemstones that we made during the how to make 4 gemstones using the Pardo, because as I said, I made that series to show people that, number one, there is a clay out there that's designed special for making 4 gemstones. And number two, that if you have the idea of a gemstone you'd like to make, all it takes is to go and check. And this is why I chose the specific gemstones that I chose, because those would be some certain basic techniques that can be applied to several gemstones, several types of gemstones. That's why I did the coral first. That would be for simple gemstones that don't have a lot of patterns or chatoyancy or stuff like that. Then the yellow calcite, that is about gemstones and crystals that have a type of honeycombed or small fractured pattern. And the amazonite, that will be for the inclusions type pattern. So you see, you can get it really, really pretty. But we are not going to bother yet with the edge. Let's first do some kind of thing on the bottom here. A little bit of a pattern. And I am going to grab the rest of the biscuit cutters. And if you missed where I got the biscuit cutters, they are a little bit spendy, but they are really worth it because you can make all kinds of sizes of boxes. Trish has them, and she has also square and hearts and another one I forgot. Okay, so let's grab some cling wrap because we want this to be pretty and smooth. We don't want it to be just a straight sharp line. And that's why I said we'll take care of the edge after we are done with this. So the first and the most important thing, of course, is to place this, avoiding making any kind of wrinkles. And by the way, I don't know how many of you follow Helen Braille, because this reminded me of it. A few days ago, she shared a tutorial of this lady who makes these absolutely stunning patterns with alcohol inks using cling wrap. I mean, what she got in that tutorial, it leaves you speechless. It's breathtaking how beautiful it can be. So I'm really curious. I said I'm going to try it with some of the acrylics and see how that works. And of course, I will reference her because the idea is absolutely fabulous. It's kind of, if you want, it's in a way related to that idea, with the strip with the thread that you dip in acrylic and then you put it on something and you put a cling wrap or something and then you pull and it makes all kinds of designs. I think it's kind of like in the same style. Okay, so first we are going to use the big one that because this is the easiest to place perfectly in the middle, and we try to set it at equal distances from the edge on all sides. And then don't press too hard. You don't want to press too hard because you're going to push your bottom in. Just a little bit. It's okay. You can replace it in spot if you didn't press enough. Okay. Then it's up to you if you want to get the very next in line. I'm not going to take the very next in line because I want a little bit more distance between them. And just gently, gently press a little bit. As I said, you don't want to press too hard because you don't want to push your bottom in. I mean, yeah, it's sturdy, but not sturdy to the point that... Okay, and now I can go with this one. I don't want this one. I want the next one. I know. I know. That was Seamus. He's got something to say. Excuse me. I know. That is his mama, meow. Yes, yes. You're okay. And this should be the last one. There we go. And we got a nice little concentric circle thing. Oh, I am so sorry. Oh, the lurcher died. Maya died. I had to put her to sleep last year in January. Her, I think she might have had something on her spine because she really went downhill in several months. She started being senile. And then at one point, she just felt she couldn't move her back legs. And I had to put her to sleep. But yeah, she died on January 16, and 2 years ago. Okay. Yeah, it is very easy. But Shirley, I don't find it messy. I didn't do it messy at all. But be very careful, Shirley. Make sure that you get the waterproof markers, because it might happen the same thing that happened with me and the Rangers inks. That's why I went on Piñata. When I forgot some cabochons, I mean, I didn't forget. I just left them in water overnight while I was sanding. Something happened, and they were made with clay tinted with Ranger inks. And in the morning, when I came to finish sanding them, they were all translucent. They did not have any more color at all. But yeah, no, Whisper's not a lurcher. Whisper's a whippet, if you're asking about him, and he's doing still very good. Still doing very good. Now, do we want to add anything to this? If you want, you can add, for example, you can get the teardrop shape cutter and make like a little flower or whatever you want. And of course, we can do a little bit of pattern on it as well, to kind of match the pattern that we did on the walls. Because we will sand it the same as for the walls. So we'll get the raised areas will be white, and only the indentations will be with more colored. something in the very middle too. And simply grab your alcohol and lift the excess. Just pat, don't wipe. And remember, when sanding this, we will get pretty white areas. Can you do more than this? Of course you can. But this would be a very simple way to still make some kind of pattern on the bottom of the lid. Now, what I said, this is when we are going to actually work on the edge. If you want it to be perfectly straight like this, you go like this. If you want to do a little bit of a bevel, you go like this. And just your finger should work perfect. And the other way that you can finish this bottom, and I do not suggest you just wait until the alcohol inks dry. Do not bake it like this. Bake it like this. On paper, of course, so it doesn't get too shiny, even if you're going to sand it. But bake it like this. Another thing that you can do for the bottom, just let's pick one of these colors here, or two of them. Let's pick, let's say, a blue and a green. Let me catch up on the chat. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. That's fine. I forgot. But Sherry, the way that I do it, I just use an old jewelry, a pair of old jewelry pliers. And I have already I use those disposable little plastic cups that you get for picnics. And then I open the marker. You know, you just open the marker, not this one, because this one is a fluorescent. Hold on, let me try and find one of the ones for inks. Okay, no, this is not one for ink either. I'm sorry. Where are they? Because I had a whole bunch here. Anyway, so you open the marker and you check where it can be opened. And there's a piece of advice, you can use the tip too. Like on here, you open it like this. You can just pull it apart with pliers. And then if the felt inside didn't jump out, just simply turn it upside down on the cup with ink, with alcohol, and then use a toothpick or something to mix. No. Okay, that's good. No, that's fine. You can advertise, Teresa. That is absolutely fine. Those are tutorials we all benefit from. So I was going to get some clay. So I got some wasabi and some cobalt. That's okay. That's not too bad. I'm going to grab going to grab half a square of each. Remember the 1¼ cutter. Yeah, this should be enough, half a square. If not, I can make more. And then start making a kind of Skinner blend slash iCat. iCat. I don't know how is that pronounced. iCat or iCat? Cane. Can you post a link, Teresa? Try post a link. Because if I'm not mistaken, I did not forbid the links unless YouTube's very finicky lately with links. I know that even number one, it will moderate any comment that has a link. So I will have to go and approve it. Then even if I, as the owner of the channel, want to reply to a comment with a link or post a comment with a link, I cannot do it in the front end. I have to go in the back end and post it as an administrator of the channel. So I don't know if it will let you post a link, but try posting a link to that tutorial, see if you can. Okay, so see how I have now about this much is pretty much mixed. I'm going to grab the ends and pretty much do it again, just with the ends. iCat, yeah, that's what I thought. Now I can put them one on top of the other and just keep iCatting a couple more times. And push it in. So at this point, we are pretty much making a cane if you want, but it will not stay a cane. Don't worry. What we want is just to make a type of marbling that will look pretty. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And now with this, I'm going to make a string. Just make sure that they are well stuck together. And of course, this string, you don't have to make it like this. You can make it pure white if you want, or you can make it silver if you want. But as we are going to make some inclusions on the lid, because that was the other thing, to show you how to put the inclusions on the lid, I'd rather make something like this for the bottom, and I'll have plenty enough to use for the second box, the same. I'd rather do this for the bottom so it would match the inclusions on the lid of the box. Now here all you have to do is to make sure that your little string thing is nice and even. And how thick it is, it's again, that is up to you, how thick you want to make it. But if you want to make it a little bit sturdier, my advice is grab the blade and remember the cut in an angle. And you can do it this way or you can do it this way. But hold your blade at a 45 degrees angle and trim the bottom. And make sure that it's nice and even all around. And then simply, again, grab some wax paper so it would be easy to handle. And we are going to place it around here. It needs a little bit thinner. Try and get this. You can see what I'm doing. And again, remember all this we can nicely sand to make perfectly even. And using one of those 240s will simply bite into the clay, so it will take no time to do it nicely. You need to worry about, okay, I cannot work like this, I'm sorry. You need to worry about nicely doing the joint here, and I'm using this flattened and then simply press nicely against it to make sure that it went all the way, and you can turn it around. We'll turn it around in a second to check the back if it went nice around the bottom, if we don't have any. Yeah, see, it's nice and even around the bottom. And all this we can sand away prettily and it will look perfect. So this is ready to be baked, and I'll go to the kitchen to put this because I think that the oven dinged. Yeah, it's this. It's those stamps, and you can find them on PolyClay, and I put some in my influencer store. There's actually 2 or 3 of them have the hearts. Okay, I shall be right back. Okay, let me get this to cool off a little bit. And while it's cooling off, I'm going to catch up on all the chat. Hold on. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care because it's not going to influence in any way the clay. Even if you put the shiny part, I mean, it's not going to make it shiny enough to bother you. See, that's okay. I'm not going to mess up with it until it cools off. But yeah, no, it doesn't really matter, and it's nothing that a little bit of thank you, thank you. Okay, good night. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Teresa, were you able to post the link? So yeah, Fawn, if you look back, you can see all the previous lives on this. Okay. No, there was uh, the alcohol ink tutorial. There was this lady, I don't know her name. Okay, the colors of the ink. So generally speaking, the colors that I used were rainforest green in Piñata, the citrus in Ranger, and then Baja blue that's in the Exciter pack, and then I also used the sapphire blue that was separate. And then for these little things, I use the silver that I also bought separately from the Exciter pack. The Exciter pack comes with gold, but I got some silver too. I don't know if you can see the little silver stuff in here too. Okay, let me see. What else? Yeah, you know who else has a really neat work experiment with the string thing is Ola Coquette. I loved her experiments, and she was so funny because initially she kind of failed, and then she was, oh, well, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and then it was funny. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. But yeah. Okay. Mary Foley. Yeah, yeah, you can use those, and you can find them on PolyClay Play, and I put them some on Amazon. They are just too expensive for me. It's cheaper for me to get the wax paper from the dollar store, you know. That's the only reason. Okay, so you said, let me try and find the YouTube video. Okay. Okay, this is the, so this is Mary Foley, and this is from 2015. And then there is one more by somebody named Miriam Joy. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Shut up. Let me turn this down a little bit. And it is also from 2015. And then what was also, oh, the alcohol inks. Hold on, make your own alcohol inks. But yeah, remember that you need it to be at least 91%. If you don't buy it online, I always found the 91% at Target in the pharmacy. Okay. So don't use just the plain rubbing alcohol. It will not work properly. Yeah, take this from me. It will not work properly. You want the 91%. Oh yeah, and what I used myself, what I'm using for the, and this is the most expensive part, because you can get the markers. Again, you can get the markers from the dollar store. Oh yeah, look, an idiot. Here you go. Bye bye, idiot. Okay. And yeah, I got spam. I reported it. Wanted some dating site, whatever, I don't know. So what was I saying? Yeah, I'll show you in a minute what I'm using for putting the alcohol inks in. And honestly, because of the fact that I'm using mostly the markers from the dollar store, plus alcohol, the bottles cost more than anything, because they are like 90 cents a piece. But yeah, the best thing to use are the henna applicator bottles. Because see, and of course, if you get one of those marker sets that have a lot of colors, you can make a whole bunch of colors. But I'm not sure if I put any of this in the influencer store. If I didn't, I will look and put some. But normally these you get for around 90 cents a bottle. And these are used normally to make henna tattoos, because they have this little thin tip, which works perfect for applying alcohol inks. I actually sacrificed some of my old henna bottles on some of these. And I can tell you proudly that I didn't spill any on myself when I was making them. So yeah, essentially make sure that the markers are waterproof, and also that they are permanent. It will not work properly if you use the dry erase markers. You need the permanent markers. And you need alcohol that's at least 91%. You can get like 95 or higher on Amazon, but it's more expensive. And also you need some pliers, tweezers, something. Yeah, you found that kind of bottles. Let me bring the sandpaper. Okay, so on this one, you don't really need any kind of fine sandpaper, because what you're trying to do is to actually make the edges bite into the edges. So I'm going to use some 180. I know that scares Deborah. Whenever I use 180, Deborah gets scared. And you can do it like this, or you can do it much simpler, just hold it and get all your edge nice and pretty. And you see how it practically bites into the clay. So I have here 180, 240, and 400. At what? Fred Meyers? I don't have a Fred Meyers around. At Target. But there is, I saw the alcohol on Amazon too. It's just, I think it's like 95 or 98 or 99%. And it was more expensive than the 95%, but then the 91%. The 91% I got at Target was like, I don't know, $1 for a pint and like $1.70 for a quart. Pretty much this one. This one was like $1.70. So this is what you need. So it says 91%. And it's the big bottle, and then I got a smaller bottle as well, because I wasn't sure how fast I will go through them. But I can tell you that I finished the big bottle and I barely started the small bottle, and I bought them in July or August last year. And then I got this from the cosmetics section of Walmart. And I have one for alcohol and one for water. They are fairly good, fairly okay. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way into this, because this is, I just brought these to show you how you go all nice and straight here. So this is going to be the one that goes for the inside. Hold on. So this will be the lid that goes on the inside of the box, the same as did the one in the faux burlwood tutorial. And then after I'm done with this, I will show you, because that one will be baked, and I will show you two different ways of making the other type of lid. Because see, if you notice, this other wall thing, I made it with a little bit of distance left here. When I placed the outer layer, I didn't make it all the way to the top. And yet this one needs to be sanded. As I said, I didn't take it off the blank until now to show you how to take it off the blank. But you can do it like this, or you can do it with the same type of full wall that can be used with this kind. So what I'm the most interested in at this point is to show you how to do the inlays on the lid, because that was the most requested help. So number one, let's do something for the very middle. Okay. Now, could this go in a round? This pattern, could it go in a round, in a circle? And I think that it could go in a circle very nicely. Let's just choose the circle. So I think it would go in a circle very nicely, but we'll have to be careful not to make prints of the very edge of the stamp. So what we want to do first is to make, so I said that it will be this one that fits the best. So I'm going to take the next larger one and actually cut a circle from the white that is on the second thickest setting. Now, once I did this, obviously I will need some bacon bond, but not yet. First of all, let's do our print and try not to, so don't rock the stamp, try to go straight down. Not bad. But see, this is why I got the one next larger, because even if I mess up with the stamp, I can use the cutter to cut out what I messed up and make sure here that we get it perfectly centered. Give me just a second, I need to look from above. Okay, so cut it. And now we can place it in the middle. And of course, we'll put some bacon bond. Okay, did I miss anything? Yeah, see, I didn't find it at my local Walmart, only at Target. But that's not to say that other Walmarts don't have it. Maybe just the one that was near me didn't have it. Okay, and now this will be a little bit trickier. To place this exactly in the middle. But this is why don't finish yet with the edges, because that's what will help you perfectly center your edges. Now what we want to do is to first gently make sure that it, because we don't want to mess up the prints, and then reapply the cutter, because you'll have just a little bit of deformation. And give me a minute to go get that box from the oven. Was it dinged? Okay, I got it on my glass tile. Now, I'll show you several different things. I did a little cane. There we go. I told you that I was going to reduce it. I think it was in the first live. So the way you can use a little micro cane, got a little too long. Try to pick one that would have pretty much the colors of your whatever you used. Hi, Catherine. So first, and that is, as I said, that's the secret to micro caning pretty much. And you can do it even smaller than this if you want. Let me see if I have any smaller one. Sorry, I'm looking for a super small. Oh, come on. I normally they are underfoot all the time. Unless I need them. Okay, let's use this. Does anybody like or know about Gabriel Iglesias? Hi, Catherine. Hi. Is that no? That's only camera, Catherine. Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna look anymore. I'm gonna just use this squarish one, triangular one, and squarify it real quick. Does anybody watch, or like Gabriel Iglesias? No, Gabriel Iglesias is a very funny stand-up comedian. He's Latino, and the way he says it, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy. He's overweight, but he's absolutely adorable. I mean, he makes me laugh to tears. And the first time now it's a running joke in his shows, but the first time when he explained the levels of overweight, and it was like, uh, I forgot all of them, but it was something like chubby, plump, fluffy, and damn. No, Gabriel, it's a he. It doesn't have ELLE. It's EL Indian. And it's Iglesias. It's IG. Yeah, and that's why he's called Fluffy. But yeah, the levels were Fluffy, blah, 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 and damn. Because that would be what people say when they see you. And that's what I was going to say, that my canes are normal, small, tiny, super tiny, and damn. No, there's no relation to Julio at all. But you might want to watch it. I mean, he's got a lot of shows. He's got a YouTube channel, and a lot of the shows on YouTube. You might want to watch the one where he was invited in the Arabic Peninsula to have a show. And then there's a show that's called I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy. And he does the most awesome, whatchamacallit, he can sound like a woman, like there's no tomorrow. And he makes a lot of fun of that. And he says how, for example, when he wants to make fun of the people working at drive-throughs, when he puts in no, it's not impersonator, it's actually just, you know uh talking like a woman. When he wants to make fun of them, when he orders with the voice, and he sounds very much like Callie of the Valley when he does that woman voice. And he orders with that voice, and then when he goes to the window to pick up and all that, no, it's not falsetto. He sounds exactly like a woman. Even the laugh, even hold on, let me just a second and do, because I'll let it play his intro just for a minute so you can hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's got the Aloha Fluffy, the Hot and Fluffy. They are absolutely hilarious. And then get on his channel.
Hello, people. It's Gabriel Iglesias. Oh my God! Yeah.
Hold on, let me play that again.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Hey, shut up. Okay, were you able to hear him? Oh yeah, the stand up for the, yeah, he's absolutely fabulous. No, he has a normal voice. He doesn't have a you know what voice. He's got just an absolutely normal voice. It's just that he can do imitation of voices. I mean, he imitates other comedians and other actors as well. And you should hear him imitating G.W. Bush when he says how uh, he used to do role play in the bedroom with his girlfriend. I mean, he's absolutely hilarious. Exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah. He is absolutely fabulous. I think he did. I think he did. I think he did win that. But I know that the when I completely fell in love with his shows was he's got this show where he's talking about when it was his birthday and then they go bar hopping, and at one point they stop at a strip club, and how the strippers all think that he's this other comedian guy, and when they hear his name they just stop and he's like, oh, and the face he makes, I don't know, it's okay. So we have now a very very tiny micro cane. Okay, so in order to get a good micro caning thing, because the main issue whenever you're slicing and layering canes is that your uh, slices don't tile up nicely. Hi, Angel. So, in order to avoid that, what you do, you actually make a bar of canes. And of course, you cannot make it to infinity, but you can make it fairly long to allow you to cut slices that will be a much more even and pretty than if you'd cut the cane slice one by one and place them one by one. So see, hold on, I ran out of the hangouts. Okay, so see how they are now, they are all nicely aligned. If the camera wants to go there. Yeah. Well, they're not that nicely aligned, but remember, this is supposed to be a tutorial to show you how to. I mean, it's nothing like my micro cane beads like this, for example. This is all done with micro caning. So now we are going to grab some of these slices, and I'm using that thin cane slicer. And I'm not sure if I told you, but Trish managed to find these not only in the 7.75 inches, but also in 4 inches if you want to get them a little bit shorter than 8 inches. So at this point, try to cut your slices about this thick. And you'll probably need 3 of these slices, or maybe even 4. Okay, I cut 4, but before placing the slices, obviously we want to do a little bit of the ink thing here too. We are not going to leave this completely white, right? Now with the Ranger, I have to be very careful because it drops out by its own whenever it decided to. See, not too much. So we did the coloring, and now let's do the silver. And to do it the same as we did on here, because on here we put the silver in the where the hearts come together. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here too. And use the capillarity. Let me actually shake it a little bit more than this. And remember, whenever we are going to sand here, you'll have pretty much just the lines left. There we go. And now we can go ahead and place the canes. We still have a little bit of bacon bond, but let's be sure of it. Thank you, Tinellos. But you know, it's not nice to come on somebody's live to promote your channel. It's not very polite. Okay. Picasso Day. Yeah, thank you, Picasso Day. Yeah, I think we're gonna need just a few tiles more. Yeah, they are not very expensive. It's a set of five, five or six stamps. They are very pretty. Okay, so we need some more. And about 3 tiles. And now we can start actually nicely shaping this. A lot of times when I'm doing this, I put the middle in and then I bake it to make sure that it will not get deformed at all, but I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to waste even more time. What is it, Angel? A basic flower pot. You can always use wire netting as, or get one of these. Also at the Dollar Tree you can find them. Get one of these to use as support and you can leave it in there. Just cover it with polymer clay. But yeah, essentially, as I said, my advice is to actually first bake the middle and then start a layering around. And then I'm going to grab my, if I find it, there you go, my little blue paintbrush. Just you'll have to remember one thing, that on live, for me, it's much harder to do stuff because of the fact that, see, for example, when I tape a tutorial, I can keep this here, I can put the camera here, and then I can zoom in with the camera and be able to come with my face right here and see what I'm doing. But Hangouts does not allow me to go into the settings of the camera during a live. So a lot of times it is very difficult for me. Remember that I cannot see well. So it is very difficult for me to do something, or the angle I have to hold my hands is very bad. So that's why sometimes you see that the live stuff I do live doesn't look that terrific because I cannot see, I cannot move properly. Not yet. That is the main reason. Because see, for example, this is at the worst angle of distance for me. Yeah, that is, and you will find several shapes and sizes of those. Look in the office things. I got that at the Dollar Tree, so I only paid $1 for it. At the Dollar Tree store, you can find all kinds of neat stuff that in other stores is several dollars, and you can only find. Okay, let's try and see the itty bittiness. You can see the itty bittiness of that cane. So after this, okay, did he still talk? Is he still talking? No, I don't see him anymore. Now, what we can do is to start putting 1 or 2 lines here around that cane thing. And let's do a white. Yeah, I didn't cut them perfectly. Perfect. Then you can place another color as a line. If now here, if you want to do several colors at the same time and you want them to look beautiful, what you must do, and on this one I'm not going to use the white because it is absolutely crappy. So remember, I used the cobalt blue and I used the wasabi for the bottom. So let me go and get these on a thinner sheet. Okay, just a second, I need more wasabi. I don't have more wasabi. I'm gonna just mix this wasabi with some sunshine yellow. Okay, so what you want to do, you get, this is on the thickest setting, okay? So I'm going to cut it pretty much as straight as I can. You don't need to make a lot of it. That's why it's only a little strip. And I am going to make it about as long as this is. On this one I can go straight like this. I'm going to place this on top of it. And get here the extra out. Gently, gently, gently press them together. And you can go with them like this if you want your lines to be a little bit thicker. Or you can go with them through the pasta machine again. But I'm going to just go with them like this. Just pulling a little bit to make sure that it's going to be long enough. And then I am cutting strips that will have to be as thick as the thickness of this. And again, remember that you can even out all the layers on the lid simply by sanding. Oops. Okay, that was not good. It was a fluke. I'm going to try and cut a piece a strip that's going to be as thick as the rest of the stuff on the lid is high. Let's see if we need one more or not. No, this is enough. Going to put this to the side and we can place this now. There's still a little bit of, no, I need more bacon bond. Bye, Catherine. Thank you, Deborah. So let's first do a little diagonal cut. Now, do I want the white or do I want the black? Or actually, I think I do want a strip of white here. But it will be hard to put it in, to put it there because it's so squishy and all stretchy and all that. Got some birdies outside that are singing their little hearts out. Okay, so let's first place the white. Stay there. Of course, it's sticking where it shouldn't be sticking, and it doesn't stick where it should stick. I told you, I think Premo is a pretty good clay. It's just that it's very inconsistent when it comes to quality. And then they don't want to admit that when they have issues, that they do have issues. Oh no, we never changed our recipe. Otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty good clay, and it's very convenient, and it's very affordable, at least on the US market. Okay, now we can put the, now do I want the, obviously I want the blue near the white. So I'm going to cut a little bit of a diagonal here. Okay, it's just a tad too short. So in order to fix this, all you need to do is to gently, 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 gently pull. Not a lot, because you don't want to make it too thin. Just a little bit. And there we are. And as I said, if you bake the middle, this will be way nicer and rounder, because you can see how already my middle got a little bit messed up like this. Bye, Angel. Now, the next thing, let's do another cane thing, and this time being a larger cane, it will be much easier to see. So I need, if I look like this, I'll need one. It's about 6 per quarter, and they will have to be about this thick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So let me cut here. This one is a little bit. And now all I need to do is to just put these together nicely. Make sure that you get them together properly, front and back. And you want to make sure that they are well stuck together, as this is how you're going to get the perfect line. And now all we have to do is to cut slices. Now, being a wider circle, it's going to be much easier for me to show you how you manipulate slightly these long slices. First, you need to cut one that will bring all your thing to the same level. And this is pretty much how it looks like. Oh, come on, stay there. Okay. Of course, you can use these for the walls. You can use these for everything else. It's And you place more bacon bond or liquid clay, whichever you prefer. And remember, I said many times that I prefer to use bacon bond, not just because it gives a better bonding, but it's cheaper. Okay, and here you need to be very careful. You need to bring the ends slightly in, but without causing them to the holes slice to crack open here at the. You need the end to be pretty much going straight to the center of the circle without disturbing like I did here. And yes, if your hands are not very steady, I suggest you put a couple of these and do a 10 minutes pre-bake. Sometimes when I have to do stuff that's delicate like this, that's what I do. I place some of them and then I do a 10 minutes pre-bake or 15 minutes pre-bake, and then I continue to make sure that my work is nice and not messed up. This one, as I said, it is messed up because it's at an angle I cannot see very well, so I am already knowing that this is how it's going to be. And also I'm not going to stop and do pre-bakes in the middle of the live. As I said, I don't want to get this too extended into yet another live. We'll try and do as much as possible this time, and then whatever is left I'll do in a separate tutorial that will not be live. But I just wanted to show, because see, there's another thing. I get a lot of comments that, or messages that you make everything look so easy, and I am afraid with my hands that I won't be able to do it. And that's what I want to show you, that yeah, you can do it. It's not that difficult. It's just probably just the speed up of the video that makes it look much easier. Because normally I don't work that fast. You know, of course I speed up the video because I don't want to keep you watching me doing the same, and sometimes I also edit, watching me doing the same thing over and over for 40 minutes. Or watch me futzing around with fixing something for 10 minutes when it's no need. No, I'm trying to show you the idea of the tutorial. What are the main. Okay, here I have an extra slice, so I'll have to cut it off. And then gently push this and a little bit in. Yes, it does look a little bit not enough, but as I said, you can always gently push it. In, and it will be. See, here I have this will have to be sanded. There's a spot there when one slice is a little bit thicker than the other. But this is what happened when I did the burl wood. You know, I just sanded it to perfection. So yeah, it does. It does take sometimes a little bit longer to condition. No, Carrie, I use my eyeglasses all the time, pretty much, because I am very short-sighted. I mean, something like this, that's pretty much this far away from my eyes, stuff becomes a blur. But I have an exceptionally good eyesight when it comes to very close up. So that's when I usually take off my glasses, because the glasses being for seeing far away, they mess up my near sight. So I need to remove them in order to be able to see properly. But I see very well. I mean, I can see even the markings on gold jewelry, for example. But the thing is that once I remove my eyeglasses, I cannot see anything what's going on farther away. So that's why sometimes I don't see properly the monitor, and that's when I go off camera. So this is pretty much how you do it. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to end the live, because I've been on for what, 2 hours. And I'll finish this offline in a tutorial to show you how to finish and how to put the, I mean, this part you already kind of know, putting the that lip that goes inside the box. But let me show you how you do the lid that goes outside the box. Now, the simpler one, there's a simpler one where you do the lid coming out, like in that hat box I said, and then there's a more delicate and a little bit more work involved lid where you do it like this. And as I said, this one needs to be sanded properly, because see how it's a little bit taller here than here, so I'll have to sand this off. But it is pretty much the same on both of them. Remember, as I said, that on this one, it will have to be exactly the same. On this type of lid, it will have to be exactly the same diameter as the walls of the box. But on this one, you put the strip. You don't go anymore with scrap clay. You go directly with whatever is the, if you want a specific color, if you want a specific model. So I'll just show it to you as a general idea how it is done. And then, as I said, I will finish it in a separate tutorial, not a live. So, number one, you need a strip. You decide how big you want it to be. If you want to do it on this one, I'll tell you how it's supposed to be. So first of all, we cut a straight strip. And let's use the ruler to have it nice and straight. And then let's say that I want it to be about this big. And of course you can measure it to be perfect. I'm not going to measure it because this is not going to be permanent. I'm just showing you. If you want to start trying. And of course you can do it in a scrap clay, and you can cover it, for example, with painting, or you can cover it with little flowers, or you can cover it with whatever you want. Hi. Yeah, I was long on. Don't you see? So the next thing we need to do is to grab some aluminum foil. Aluminum. and you actually want to have it in two. You can give it in one, but if it's thin, put it in two. You want it in two, not just in one. Make sure that it does, make sure that it overlaps here properly. And I did it a little bit too wide, but that's... And this is the part where you want to be absolutely sure that this is perfectly straight. And you can use your roller, and it has to be perfectly straight here, but it also has to be perfectly straight here. So this is very, very important. Very, very, very important. Then remember that we have this, that is the exact circumference of the box. So what we want to do on it, we want to put some bacon bond. I'm not going to put bacon bond so I can remove this. But then we simply place this and I'll show you here in a minute how I'm placing it. Okay, see, I have here a little lip. I'm going to simply do a string. Of course, you can do it differently if you want. You can make it bigger, but I found that this way it looks the most polished, if you want. Hi, Lawrence. It's been a while. And then you just fill in this area. And then it's up to you. You can decide if you want to have it squarish or if you want to have it beveled. But I'm showing you how I make my boxes. As I said, you can make this a little bit wider than this and then attach the wall of the lid perfectly to the sides of the lid. But I found that doing it this way, see, I come, and again, it has to be very, very nicely placed here. And then I come and flatten it nicely, and do my little bevel. Of course, hopefully it's a better quality clay than this white. And pretty much, yeah, here you'll have to work a little bit to make sure that all the edge is either. I'll show you both variants. So you either want to make it with, okay, don't mind this, with the edge like this, perfectly straight, or you want to make it with a beveled, rounded edge. See, that's the biggest thing. And then of course you trim as equal as possible, but then once it is baked, as I said, unless you have a very huge difference in the width of this lid, don't worry too much, because what you'll do is just remember, put it on some sandpaper and then just rub it in circular motions, and it will look absolutely perfectly flat and beautiful and round. Then once you're done with this, this is where you need to trim the excess perfectly flat. See, hold the blade like this and trim it perfectly flat on the surface. And generally speaking, at this point, you might want to put the middle if you intend to put a middle. But again, this is another example of me taking cautions. This is when, after I do this part, I pre-bake it again. And as I said, you can just simply go and get the extra. Yes, the lid will be just a tad loose, but that is what you want. You don't want to have to force it open and closed all the time. So yeah, pretty much this is it. And I will be finishing both this and this off camera and show you how it came up, because I'm starting to get tired. Okay, I hope this was helpful, because on how to put in the one with the inner lid, it's in the faux burl wood tutorial. On this one, you can imagine how it is. Oh yeah, and the other thing that I didn't show. So what you do on this one, it's pretty much the same thing, only that, see, you put one layer of aluminum foil, and then you bring your, over the aluminum, you bring your layer that gets on top on the lid, only down to here. Make sure that your aluminum foil overlaps. Just a second. Overlaps the bottom one. So when you put it in, you need to make sure that this goes over here, because if you don't do it, if it doesn't come here, then your strip that goes like this will get pretty much stuck to the bottom one, and you'll have to cut it loose. So that's not going to be very nice, but this is pretty much how on this type of lid it should look like. Okay, so I will pretty much do the lid like this on this, the lid like, I don't know, like this on the other one, because I'm going to actually sand all this, because I showed you the other type of lid before. So I can show you these other two kinds of lids. But yeah, have a happy rest and nice rest of the day. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you for being here with me. Happy Sunday and happy clean. Goodbye.